Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Teresa Lyons. Teresa, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. So before we dive into this crap ton info dump, I want to first thank Mom for filling in for me yesterday. One of the craziest days of the season so far, and I think she did a really great job with it. So thank you so much. Alright, so now we have things to talk about. So yesterday we left off with the Power Veto competition. It was BB Stormwatch, and it was the one where Big Brother gives them all those weather updates with the first 4 evicted house guest names. And they like kill them with that all night, and you have to study, and then you do the competition. So the host for that was Christmas, and the players were Paul, Cody, Jess, Jason, and 2 extra players, Raven and Kevin, which I wrote in my book at first as Raven and Kevin. That's not a person. Okay, so anyway, as Mom told you yesterday, Paul won the Power of Veto. Didn't he win this last season too? I'm pretty sure he did. But what I'm really interested in, I want to know who was the person this season who was all, hello, I'm insert name. I really hope there was somebody like that. But anyway, Paul got 22, correct. Kevin and Raven were in second place with 16. Cody got 15. Jess got 12. And I don't know how many Jason got, but I don't think it was good. I don't know if he was necessarily last place, but he wasn't good. So, supposedly, Jess and Cozy I didn't sleep a lot this weekend. Supposedly, Jess and Cody didn't try during this competition. For sure not Jess. She said that she guessed Jillian for like a lot of the questions. But she doesn't care because she's planning on using the halting hex this week. She doesn't have a care in the world right now. So Paul was in the HOH room with Matt and Raven after the competition. And just to set the scene here, Raven still didn't get that waterproof mascara. So it was all crazy. And at this point, I'm starting to wonder, is she just doing that on purpose? I feel like it's kind of maybe an attention thing, because I know if my mascara was like that, I would wipe that shit off immediately. She's sitting there eating popcorn, having a great time, whatever. Okay, I just wanted to note that. But they're really perplexed by Cody right now. Like, was he trying during the competition? Because he got 15 right. He was only 1 point behind Raven and Kevin. And they were trying. I don't think Kevin was going full out, but they were trying. So they're thinking there's no way that he was just guessing during this competition. And they're also wondering, was somebody like helping him study? Does he got people helping him out on the down low? Paul doesn't think so. He doesn't think anybody helped him, but he thinks that Cody was maybe playing up not trying and not listening to the messages when they were playing, because Cody was all like, oh, I slept through them, whatever. But Paul's like, methinks Cody was awake during those messages. So anyway, Paul says he's going to go to the diary room to ask them some questions, because he feels like Jess is lying about her temptation, which you're not allowed to do. So he feels like production should tell him the truth, because she can't be putting all these alternative facts out there, right? So anyway, he wants to ask the diary room if she really does have 3 weeks of safety. So Paul is going to try to talk to Jess about it again. He's going to try to freaking strong arm her. I don't think that's a good move. People don't like that. People don't like feeling threatened, and I think, especially Jess, I just feel like that is... She doesn't like that. So, he's going to tell her that everybody wants Cody out and that they're going to be really pissed at her if she uses the hex. Good luck with that. Okay. So, Paul is going around catching people up on his plan. He's talking to Elena and Mark. Then he's talking to Christmas and Josh about it. Excuse me. And he lets them know that he's going to talk to Jess right after he gets answers from Big Brother about her temptation. So, Christmas is like, all right, I'm going to give you some talking points here. I think you could use some help. So she says, this is what you tell Jess. Tell her that she can mend her relationships with other people much faster if she just doesn't use the hex and cuts Cody loose. Come on. So then she's like, also say that she's going to become a target if she uses the hex. And without Cody, she's not going to be a target. Remember when Cody was evicted and then she was... Oh, wait, she went up on the block. Right? Okay. But also tell her, if you use the hex, you won't make it to jury. They feel like this is the last eviction before the jury starts, so everybody's like super on edge about it. And if she uses the halting hex, that means there's still that spot open for a pre-juror eviction. So Christmas is like, you need to really push that. Also, Paul's going to be like, oh, we can get Cody out whenever we want, but you're going to become the new #1 target instead of him. Also, he wants to say, you're the only one who wants Cody in the jury house. Damn! Okay. So anyway, Paul is also telling Christmas and Josh that he really wants to start messing with Cody and making him crack psychologically if Jess chooses to use the hex. Okay, didn't they just get a warning about that? Like, not provoking people? I know Josh absolutely did. I know Mark was definitely warned. I don't know, maybe the rules don't apply to Paul there, but who knows. So, meanwhile, we continue the Elena-Mark saga. I feel like this breakup has been going on for months. And they've only been in the house for like, what, 40 days? 40? I don't know. But this breakup has been going on for a long time. So Elena and Mark were talking in the have-not room, and Elena's just like, perception is everything. And she says, if stepping away from you helps my game, I need to do that. She really wants to repair her relationships with other people, and that's going to mean hanging out less with Mark. And at the same time, she doesn't want to hurt him, but she's just like, you know what? I need to focus on my game. And she's absolutely right. She just freaking met this guy, and she's not even sure if she likes him like that anyway. So why are you going to waste your game on somebody? So Mark is all sad. He's like, well, if this is what you want, I'll give it to you. But at the same time, he's arguing that this is stupid. He's like, I don't know, I see the game differently. He thinks that there's mostly pairs in the house. There are pairs. I mean, you got Matt and Raven, you got Jason and Alex, who are pretty much a pair. Obviously, Jess and Cody, but there's plenty of people who are not in a pair. But I'm thinking, like, Elena's probably like, yeah, I want to be in a pair with Paul. She definitely wants to be, like, Paul's right-hand woman, right? That's what it seems like to me. But Elena's saying, you know, I really thought about this from your standpoint as well, and she thinks that this is a great opportunity for him to work on things with other people too. And she keeps pushing, like, I love being around you. It's not, like, a personal thing. This is strictly game. So then Mark is like, all right, well, I wish you the best of luck. Oh my god, he's pulling a Josh. And Elena's like, don't be cold. That's so cold. So Elena's saying she still wants them to have each other's backs, but they can't be all up in everybody's faces about it, because she's right. Perception is everything. Even if you're telling the truth about something, if the perception is that you're not, that's what's going to fly in this house. So then Mark says, all right, well, I got to ask you something. If I win HOH, will you stay in the room with me? She says, no. Not at this time. Oh, okay. So, I mean, they talk a little bit more about this, and then they have a very long hug and a couple of kisses, and then a very long silence. Excuse me, sir. So then after that, Mark is like, well, I guess I'll see you around. Ugh. And then he goes to the storage room and cries. I'm not actually crying right now. It's just my eyes are really tired. But he was crying in the storage room. Okay, so then, after he got his tears out, Mark went up to the HOH room for some advice from Paul. So he's like, Paul, obviously, I need to stop talking to Cody. But what else can I do to get my game back on track? Oh, Paul's got some advice for him. Don't you worry. So Mark is like, Elena doesn't want anything to do with me right now. She thinks that I'm a bad look for her. So, you know, Paul has already heard this because he was the one telling Elena all this stuff. Like, you need to separate from Mark. So, it's kind of funny that Mark is going to Paul for advice about this. So, Paul's like, you know what? You need to freaking lay low. You are safe this week, so don't be causing drama. And he says about 50 times, separate from Cody. Don't spend so much time with him. Don't spend so much time with Jess. They're public enemies 1 and 2 right now. And just lay back and let other people do stupid shit and blow up their own games. And while you're doing that, just mend your relationships. You know, don't talk games so much with people. Just have genuine conversations with them. Get to know them better on a different level. And then, if you're lucky, win the next HOH and make a big move that the rest of the house wants and will be happy with. And then you'll be back in their good graces. So Mark's just like, okay. Alright, so then Paul and Kevin were chatting in the HOH room, enjoying some beers. And Paul was like, alright, here's what's up. If Jess uses her hex, she will become target number 1. We're going to start going after her before Cody. So we get rid of her pre-jury, and then we send out Cody as the first juror. Ouch! That freaking sucks. That's harsh. But anyway, Paul is like, I'm going to bring this up to Jess after I get the answers from the diary room. He says he's been waiting on this for 2 days. What's going on there? Why is it taking so long? But anyway, he's also telling Kevin how he's going to try to break Cody. Again, good luck with that. This guy, come on. You really think you're going to break Cody? I don't know about that. But he says he wants to either get him to, like, self-evict or get thrown out. And just, like, in general, make him miserable. Okay, so then you're just talking a lot of crap about Cody, and then they shift the conversation to Christmas, and Paul's like, we can't keep her around too long, because it's going to get to the point in that game where maybe, like, the numbers for voting aren't as important, and we just need people who are going to freaking win competitions for us, because, like, early on, you can get away with having a huge group and maybe only a few people who are actually good at comps, but then when you get down to it, you need people who are going to win for you. So Paul's like, we'll just send her to jury, let her take her meds there, and they're both kind of really getting annoyed with Christmas at this point. They feel bad that she's always guilt-tripping Jason for the whole broken foot thing when she was just as responsible for it. They're not happy with her. But anyway, in other news, Elena decided to go for the have-not temptation. It almost felt to me like when you break up with somebody or you get dumped and then you get a haircut because you just, like, need a change. I feel like, or, like, you go skydiving or something. I don't know. But I feel like she wanted to do something now that her and Mark are, like, kind of broken up. So she goes for the have-not temptation, and unlike Mark, she invited everybody to watch in the have-not room. So she chose purple, and she got the extension chip. Oh, so that means she's going to be a have-not for 2 weeks. That sucks. But she had a pretty positive attitude about it. She's like, I can do it. But at the same time, I feel like she's been complaining hardcore about the slop. So we'll see. I don't know. I feel like it could maybe not be so good for her. She's going to get to a point where she's just like, ah! But we'll see. All right. So then Paul begins his schemes. He's trying to crack Cody, and this is going to start in the form of pranks. So he's, like, wiping Vaseline on door handles, and Cody got caught in one of those. He got the, he touched the Vaseline, and then he just freaking wiped it on one of the headboards on the bed in the money bedroom. Ew. So then Paul put some Vaseline on the handle of the coffee pot. He thought this was freaking hilarious. He was telling everybody about it. He was so proud. Raven is, like, rolling on the floor laughing. That was a bit much. Matt and Josh were laughing about it. And then Paul is telling Jason and Alex all about the Vaseline thing. And he's like, oh, yeah, I also want to put it on the sink so that when Cody tries to wash his hands, he's going to get more on them. Oh, my God. They're really bored in there, aren't they? So then Jason is like, ooh, speaking of coffee, what if we switch out the regular coffee with decaf, and we'll tell everybody else that it's switched so that it's just Cody that doesn't know about it. Oh my God, you guys are so bad. I feel like you're going to have to do more to get under Cody's skin. But anyway, they pull off the old switcheroo, and we'll come back to the coffee thing. So then, not long after that, Paul gets an answer from the diary room. So he reports back to everybody that they told him no one is guaranteed safety for the next 3 weeks. And he said he's still waiting on like 3 or 4 more answers that he says are coming tomorrow, meaning Sunday. So during this whole thing, when he was telling people about this, the feeds are going in and out. You know, production was like, cut the feeds, he's talking about his diary room sessions. Ah! All right, so then Paul is up on his soapbox talking about how some people, Jess and Cody, don't deserve to be here, and that really ticks him off. So then he's saying that he's going to use the veto on Jason, and he's planning on like calling out Cody in his speech. I feel like no matter what, this POV ceremony is going to be baller. It should be good, right? I feel like no matter what happens, it's going to be crazy in some way. So then this morning, Cody got up to make some coffee like he usually does, and he picked up the pot with the Vaseline on it, and he was just like... So he goes and gets a paper towel, he wipes off his hand, he wipes down the handle in the coffee pot, and that was that. So then he made the coffee and drank it and didn't realize it was decaf. Oh man, you really got him. Okay, so then Paul had a meeting. This is where things get a little crazy. Today was nuts, by the way. Sunday, nuts. So Paul has a meeting with Kevin and Jason in the Apple Lounge, and he's trying to come up with a new plan because he thinks he's got some stuff figured out. But guess what? He's totally misunderstanding Jess's temptation. So he thinks that Jess can save herself and another person if she is actually up on the block. But he thinks that she can only save one person if she's not on the block. I don't know why he would come to that conclusion, because I feel like that makes like no sense. But just to remind you guys, as far as I understand, the halting hex just like stops the eviction. Nobody gets evicted, and then they start over with a new HOH. So it's just like they skip an eviction and move on. So anyway, Paul is proposing, instead of using the veto on Jason, he's like, what if I used it on Jess and then put up Elena in her place? And then make her choose between Cody and Elena, her two closest allies. Because again, he thinks that Jess would only be able to save one person from the block. She can save both, and she'd even be able to save Jason too. But Paul is hoping, you know, there's a chance that she would save Elena over Cody, realizing that Cody's really bad for her game. But if she did end up saving Cody, he thinks everybody would be pissed at her, so they're still going to be huge targets. So, and they'd be getting rid of Elena, who Paul is very threatened by. So Jason's like, all right, you don't want to take me down? Do whatever you want. What is wrong with these people? Okay, so then Paul's telling Matt about the plan. Of course he's on board. What is he going to say? No? Pfft. So then Paul is like, yeah, this is my plan now. However, I am going to try and talk to Jess again, see if I can make a deal with her to not use the hex. But if she declines, I will go ahead with this plan, take her off the block, and put up Elena. All right, so Paul brings Jess up to the HOH room to try to make a deal. And he starts by saying, like, I just want you to know, everybody really likes you. We had a lot of fun with you when Cody wasn't here. You're sticking your fingers up people's buttholes, which, by the way, Paul said so many times that he hates. But anyway, he's like, you're only in the crapper right now because of Cody. You're pretty much just collateral damage. So then, you know, after he's buttering her up, he wants to know more about the halting hex. So she tells him the truth, and she's like, I can save all the nominees, even Jason. Oh, that's a cat again. Oh my god, I thought that was a person. So yeah, she tells him the truth. She can save all the nominees. They would just start a new week. And after she tells him, there's just silence from Paul. He's just like, all of them? Yeah. So he's trying to regroup, trying to build up another argument here. So Paul's like, well, everybody wants Cody out, and if you don't use the hex, everybody will be happy with you, and you'll be securing your spot in the jury, and then you'll still have the hex to use the next week, so you shouldn't use it. And Jess is like, why would I do something for these people? What have these people done for me? When I was HOH last week, I didn't want to go to jury with Josh, and nobody cared. They all voted him out, except for Cody, Elena, and Mark. And then she brings up how the week after Cody left, she was supposed to be safe, and she went up on the block. That's a really good point. She's making some really good points here. And Paul's like, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. So Jess is just like, get real. I'm not going to freaking have a hand in getting rid of the only person who truly has my back in this house. So Paul is like, yeah, but he's really bad for your game. He's putting you in danger. But Jess is not budging at this point. So then Paul's got to bring out the big guns. He's like, I just want to let you know that a while back, Cody told Matt that he wanted to keep Alex and Jason around to take out you and Raven for him. Oh, shit! Okay, so she's just like, well, I didn't know that. So then Paul is like, all right, what's it gonna take to get you in this car tonight? She tells him she's got a few demands here that need to be met for her to even, like, think about not using the hex. She's warming up to it a little bit, supposedly. So Jess is like, here are my things. I don't want to go up on the block, even as a pawn, for the next 2 evictions. And whoever wins HOH next has to go after Alex. Oh, shit! She's trying to freaking snipe Alex like that. So Paul's like, alright, I can promise you the first part, which how can he, though, because he's not gonna be HOH. I guess he's kind of showing, like, he's got a pretty good command over people, but he's saying, you know, the second part is gonna depend on the HOH, but wouldn't the first part depend on the HOH too? Because they're gonna be the ones nominating people? It's kind of the same deal. But anyway, he says, yeah, I can guarantee the first part, but not the second. So Jess is like, yeah, but you have everyone's ear, so you should be able to pull this off. Oh, damn. So this was actually a really, really fun combo to watch because they were both like, blah, 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 blah. So then Paul's like, well, I don't really have everyone's ears, but I can talk to people. And he's saying, like, why throw your game away for Cody when you can do this for everybody and make the whole house happy? And Jess says, I'm not here to make the house happy. Yes! Thank you! Oh my god, I've been waiting to hear that for years. So, Paul is saying, oh, really? Because you have to play the first part of the game like that. You have to. It's like a mob mentality. And she's like, really? What about Evil Dick and Dr. Will? And he's like, those were exceptions to the rule. And here again, Jess does not want to be told how to play this game. She is not a player. She's not one of those players. She is going to do what she wants to do. So she's saying, like, if you can get your people to agree to my terms, I'll consider it. So go do your work and come back to me. So then, after this, Jess is making moves. She's talking to Matt. She pulls him aside, and she's asking him about what Cody supposedly said to him early on in the season about keeping Jason and Alex to come after her. So Matt is like, I don't really want to talk about it. Like, I feel really weird about this. And she's just like, why? And he says, well, it happened so early on in the game. It was before we even all really knew each other. It's not really relevant anymore. So he doesn't really confirm or deny the conversation. So then Paul pulls Matt aside, and Matt's telling him about it. And he's just like, why didn't you tell her it was real? Like, we freaking have her so close to not using this hex. I don't know about that. But he updates Matt on the situation. He wants everybody to pretend that they're going to agree to Jessica's terms, but they're not actually going to go after Alex next. And I don't know if they would actually keep Jess safe. I guess it wouldn't be as big of a deal for them to keep her off the block, but they are not going to go after Alex next. So, once again, they're going to tell everybody about this, except for, obviously, Jess and Cody, but also Mark and Elena will be left out of the loop. So, they're going to tell Mark and Elena Jess's terms as if they were actually going to follow through with them, and, like, Alex is actually the next target. That's really sad that they're going to try to pull the wool over their eyes. in back-to-back weeks like this. But anyway, Jess goes to Cody next, and she's asking him about keeping Alex and Jason to take her out. Cody is denying it. He says no freaking way, and he's getting upset that his loyalty is being questioned like this. Eventually he does say, like, yeah, we had discussions like that, but it was literally like the first few days and we didn't even really know each other that well. So then meanwhile, need a breather. Meanwhile, Paul is filling everybody else in on the plan, and Christmas is like, yeah, sounds great. Alex and I should do a freaking fake argument. What is it with the fake arguments every season? They like never work. But anyway, then he's finally telling Alex about it, and she's just like, all right, if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. Again, what is wrong with these people? Okay, excuse me. So then Paul finds Jessica outside, and he alerts her, people are on board and we're ready to talk about it. So we'll get everybody in a room. We'll get this thing done. We'll sign those contracts. We'll get you in that car. So then Jess is talking to Mark about the Cody comment, and Mark is sticking up for his man. He says, that was discussed in the first few days, and he cares about you so much now, like, you really shouldn't hold that against him, because it's not the same anymore. You know, it was a different time. So she's just like, okay, cool, thanks. But Mark was really trying to, like, keep the band together here. He really wants himself, Elena, Jess, and Cody to all stick together, the four of them. That group is falling apart. But anyway, Jess and Cody had a little argument in the Rose bedroom. Cody is like really shook that Jess was questioning his loyalty earlier. So he's like, you can find someone else to mistrust. And Jess is like, you're really going to let them win like that? What the hell? So Cody says, you lost me out there. I don't need you questioning my loyalty because that's all I have to give you. So then she tells him, you're overreacting. Like, freaking chill out. But no, he says he's going to go work out. I hope he was doing that kicking thing that he did the other time. He got really upset and stormed out. Remember he was doing, like, the backwards kicks and, like, the high kicks? I don't think he was doing that. I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't think so. But anyway, after he went outside, Jess was all like, do whatever the F you want, effing child. I didn't sign up to be an effing babysitter. Wow. Ow! Alright. So then, Jess and Paul meet in the HOH room a little while later, and Paul is like, I don't know what Josh, Jason, or Kevin would do if they won HOH, because Jason and Kevin are really close to Alex, and Josh, who the frig knows what's going on there. But he says he touched base with all the others, and they are on board to target Alex next and keep Jess off the block. So he's like, we'll get everybody in a room together like you want, and we'll make this happen. And Paul keeps saying, you're going to be so much stronger without Cody. This is going to be so great for your game. And he also asks if it's okay if he uses the veto on Jason. And Jess is like, yeah, sure, do what you got to do. So at this point, it seems like she's agreeing to not use the halting hex, which would send Cody out of the house. So we're gonna pick it up there tomorrow. I feel like there's no way that she would, you know, have herself and Cody stay up on the block and not use the halting hex and let everybody vote one of them out. There's no way. She's got to be planning on using it, right? She's setting him up, right? So we're going to pick it up there because I didn't want to, like, gloss over a lot of really important stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm sorry this was so long, but there was so much to talk about. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love.